Welcome to another very beautiful edition of the Weekend Show right here on ABS Channel 24. This is welcoming you to the Weekend Entertainment segment, and my name remains Amaka Ubeche. It's the one-year anniversary of the publication of an anthology titled Dispossessed. Today I have an honorable a gentleman in the studio with me to discuss about this publication. I'm talking none other but the writer himself, Mr. James Eze. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amaka. Really delighted to be here and to share this moment with you and the audience.
Yeah, thank you. Because, I was confused there as regards what exactly to introduce you as. I wanted to say you're a writer, you're a publisher, I don't know, but then we know you as the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Willie Obiano. Yeah. And not many people know this side of you as a writer.
Yeah, well, not many as it were, because I actually would like to describe myself as a man that's wearing many hats. But the aspect of me that has to do with creative writing, especially poetry, it's not quite known to so many people. I started out as a journalist, but long before I wrote my first story as a journalist, I had written countless number of poems. I started writing poetry when I was in secondary school.
Wow.
But journalism came first to the public domain because of its nature. And then poetry has just come, and we are happy. Today specifically being the anniversary of the publication of my first collection of poems.
Wow.
I think it's a time for serious introspection and evaluation of my artistic journey.
Okay, so talking about introspection, how far so far, what inspired Dispossessed as an anthology for you?
Well, that's a very good question, Amaka. Dispossessed is a journey that took me many years to accomplish. But fundamentally, what inspired Dispossessed is my understanding of my society, Nigeria, my immediate environment, as a place where people hardly ever live their dreams. When I was a younger man, I used to look at Nigeria like the cemetery of dreams, place where dreams died at dawn. What do I mean by this? You see a young man, a young woman with a lot of promise, and before he hits his middle age, he would either have abandoned that dream, that earliest promise, for something else, or he would probably have even lost his life. I'll give you an instance. When I was a younger man in secondary school, I had a friend known as Ifeanyi Eze. Ifeanyi was a prodigious and precocious little boy who had certain things, certain innate abilities way above his time. While he was in secondary school, he manufactured what we, loosely termed the Scud missile. He would launch it from this point, and it would land somewhere like Unizik Junction. Wow. How he was able to do that, I had no idea. And we all had great hopes for this young man. Doing that, accomplishing all the things he did in a rural secondary school, for that matter. I was to later meet Ifeanyi when we both went into the university, and I was still very hopeful of him. You know what happened next? When we graduated, I thought someone like him would have been given a scholarship to go overseas. Study. This is someone I knew.
Bright dreams.
Yes, if he had grown up in the right environment, he would have been one of the leading scientists of the world today. But today, As we talk, he works in one of the ministries in Abuja.
Okay, so that's the reason why we're here now. You are talking about Dispossessed, the
Yes,
anthology that you
absolutely.
sole and single-handedly wrote and brought together.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he wasn't able to, he didn't get the opportunity to go ahead with whatever he wanted to.
Absolutely.
But, you know, regardless of all the, you know, facets of the economy that you've delved into, you still were able to come back to publish this, your long dream of writing poetry. Yeah. So now, what are the thematic preoccupations of the anthology? What are we expecting from the book?
Yeah, the book actually it's a personal journey that I would like to say approximates to a universal experience. Okay. Because if you read books Dispossessed, you start with the first segment, which is the segment of innocence.
Okay.
And innocence takes you through my childhood memories, the things that I agonized about, the things I fantasized about. You know, my relationship with the members of my family, my mother, reminiscence of my mother, my dad, the family settings. Like if you were to read the poem Dear Mama, okay, which is a parody of Tupac Shakur's Dear Mama, yeah, but in a poetic form, because as when I was younger, I was actually into music. I was a campus rapper, wow, and I have a lot of hip-hop influence on my art. So I did a tribute to my mama, Dear Mama, which looked at my family setting. Okay. You know, so it went on from that, from the segment that talked about my innocence. You know, you progress to transgression. Transgression takes you through my adolescence and the early stages of my youth, when I now discovered, you know, beauty and aesthetics and the finest manifestations of God's creativity in a woman. Okay. I fell in love, fell out of it, had my heart broken, learned from my experience. I wouldn't say it several times. So, but he looked at you know, that aspect of growth where, you know, it's like the ultimate aphrodisiac. Yeah. You go, you come back, you know, your heart is broken, but you never stop falling in love because you just have to leave. Okay. So from transgression, you finally hit atonement. In Atonement, which is the final segment of the book, the poet persona now engages Nigeria, engages Africa, engages the society on different levels of thought and ideology. You know, I looked at Nigeria as it is. That is where the title poem Dispossessed actually is included, the final segment. And the title poem takes off from my agonies over Biafra to my disappointment with Nigeria, to my amazement with the state of Africa and how we have mismanaged the earliest promises of independence, to the larger world, the interrelationships and the international diplomacy and policy, the bullies of the world, America, China, and how they are playing Ludo with the rest of us. You know, and in some aspects, you know, I looked at, you know, Lady Liberty, which is the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island in New York, which I visited about 2 years ago for the first time, and I was like, you know, the Statue of Liberty, is that the new face of terrorism and horror? Considering what America does all over the world, you know, the wars in the Middle East, the stationing of American troops in many parts of the world, Europe and Asia, and so many places. So it has a lot to do with international politics.
So of all the poems that you wrote in the anthology, which of them speaks to you personally?
So many of them speak to me because a poet is never without feelings. True. You know, and since we are looking at 1 year after Dispossessed, sure, I have written poems, more poems in the past 1 year that I would say calibrate my artistic growth on a whole new level. My response to the NSAS Now protests, which I published just this week, was actually, to my mind, a very agonizing piece of poetry looking at what angered the youths, enraged the youths to do what they did, and how shattered dreams and broken promises have always been the death of the Nigerian dream, and so there are so many things. And it was also, in that poem, I tried deliberately to rhyme. I don't rhyme in poetry. I do free verse because it gives me a lot more latitude to exploit the key benefits of symbolisms and metaphors and imageries in a more profound way. Yes. So, but this time I tried to rhyme so it would retain its musicality. It would also appeal more to the youth because.
With the rhyme and all,
absolutely.
Of course. Okay, so I'm going to cut you short there because there is a particular song that has been making waves on all the YouTube channels and all social media platforms. Mr. James Eze is still with us in the studio right here on Anambra Broadcasting Service. We'll be going on a very short break and we'll be taking one of his poems that have been converted to a song. And when we come back, he will be telling us about other things that he proposes to do in the future and what he hopes to achieve so far. So don't go anywhere. We definitely will be right back.
You're the rainbow of my life. 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 You're the rainbow. You're the rainbow. You're the rainbow.
Like a rainbow after the rain, you appeared on the stormy horizons of my life, with a paintbrush to inflame my days with color. And now, like a movie series, every dawn comes with a lyric to announce a new season of love. You are the rainbow that resets the skies after each storm, erasing memories of sunless days when beauty hid behind pregnant clouds. And my earth is out of rhythm with the Milky Way. Now, your smile has set the sky ablaze with celestial melodies. And each hymnal concerto, each movement in the contralto, each fragment of mezzo-soprano reminds me of the harmony in a rainbow. You walk through the door to my heart when bougainvilleas laugh the sun awake, dropping dewy petals on the floor to form a red carpet for your dainty feet. And our love has been a lunar eclipse, my love. Our bodies aligning in perfect symmetry to the prosody of songs that have no need for voices. I am the moon in this silhouette of dreams, and you are the earth whose shadow must gather and fold me in her arms. Like radiant mentors aflame in the palms of a goddess. Beloved, this love is celestial, and your penumbrous softness is my only chance to breathe. For when the earth locks lips with the moon, and the sun blushes in envy, our bodies tremble with the guilt of knowing. So let these fleeting moments between the earth and the moon inflict the bellows in the sleepy of our hearts and fan indigo flames to make the rainbow blink in wonder. You are my rainbow, baby. You are my rainbow. I love you.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful piece right there. That was Rainbow by Mr. James Eze himself. One of the poems from his collection of an anthology, which he published a year before now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Today happens to be the 1-year anniversary of the publication of Dispossessed, and Mr. James Eze is still telling us what inspired this book and all the other things accompanied. Okay, so we were talking about how you came up with Rainbow.
Yes.
And how you had to go into the studio and it wasn't planned. Please tell us about that making process.
Oh, thank you. It was totally unplanned. You know, I was working with my team and we had just finished the production of a documentary, and the voiceover had just been done in the studio by the veteran Nollywood actor Bob Manuel Udoku. And on the spur of the moment, when Bob stepped out of the studio, I jumped into the studio and began to read one of my poems onto the microphone. And, you know, the people around there, the studio guys were all impressed. They said I had a very good delivery and that the thing I was saying seemed to make sense. They didn't know it was a poem. So, but Bob Manuel knew that it was a poem, and he said, okay, do you still have any poems there? I said, yes. He said, okay, give me one. Let me read it. And being a master, you know, in the game of make-believe. Bob Manuel is someone who studied theater arts and drama and could give any performance a life of its own. So he got into the studio and read one of the poems, and we all screamed, and it was recorded actually, and the poem was titled Ozobolo, my tribute to the massacre of 21 people in a church in a town known as Ozobolo in Anambra South. About 2 years ago. So from there, an idea struck me. I was like, because what Bob Manuel did sounded really very nice. But I thought about, okay, he just recited the poem. What if we put a beat to the poem and then see what happens? So I got a few of my friends together, and I actually worked with a bunch of talented young stars. So I got Diva involved. We got together in a hotel room with music equipment, and I just told Diva, this song this poem is, the title is Rainbow. So I hummed the chorus for Diva. Impulsively, instinctively, it wasn't planned. And so, because she has an amazing voice, I say, when she began to really deliver the lines, and I began to also read to the rhythm. And a guy named Drills, very young but talented, man in Oka, gave us a beat. Rainbow was recorded in less than 30 minutes.
Wow.
It wasn't planned, nothing. I kept reading. I did the first take, and Dre said, that was really good, but we need to do it again. Why don't you do your, make your voice sound like this, add a little more emotion to your delivery.
So you were playing the piano in that video.
In the video.
Do you really know how to play the piano in real life?
That's a strong one.
Because that would be a very good one if you do.
Well, to answer your question directly, the video is a make-believe.
Okay.
My piano playing skills are still very, very rudimentary. But when we wanted to shoot the video, the creative director, Joe Mwabrije, we call him Big Joe, I actually scripted the video, you know, like this is how I want this to come. But
Let it look like you know how to play the piano.
no, that was even Joe's idea.
Okay, so let's talk about poetry in Nigeria,
Okay,
because you know poetry is a capture of words or capture of emotion. Not many people appreciate poetry in Nigeria, and you know it's like a way of communication using high language that people, you know, not just language, figurative expressions and the words. How do you see poetry in Nigeria?
Well, you know, the belief that Nigerians don't appreciate poetry, don't value poetry, I think is wrong. Because I have actually come to realize that in our society, right from the traditional society to what we have now, our people's language has always been poetic. Poetic in the sense that we infuse a lot of creativity in the way we talk. Look at the street slangs. We mint them every day. In the Igbo society, if you listen to our elders, you know, have a conversation, talk extensively in Igbo language. Our orators were master wordsmiths.
Wow.
They used language in the most sublime form, and that's poetry. Poetry is, to my mind, a somewhat elevated use of language.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be bombastic. It doesn't have their words. The choice of words doesn't have to be, you know, out of the ordinary.
Okay.
It is the way you manipulate those words. You know what's available to you at any material point in time. So the words we deploy now become raw materials for communication.
Okay, so with that, I hope that poetry will have a place someday in Nigeria, and then people will begin to appreciate it in our dear country, Nigeria. This is where I round off with the weekend entertainment segment of the weekend show. I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. James Eze. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, well, thank you, Amaka. It's my pleasure coming here on this historic day to me, you know, to share my thoughts.
Congratulations too.
Thank
More
you
grease
so
to your
much.
elbows.
Thank you.
Okay, David and Oluchi are already standing by. You know how we do it every Saturday. We'll be coming right after now with social media trends. Go get this book. It is very interesting and you would love whatever you read from it. Get it, get a copy, grab a copy. This is my copy and he's going to have to sign an autograph for me too. So stay tuned because we'll be coming right after now with social media trends. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're the rainbow of my life. You're the